there.
Yeah, it is. BC is on fire.
Yep, and it looks like we live in Silent Hill now.
Yeah. Or Mad Max.
Or just a very creepy place.
Yeah, it's creepy. It's a state of emergency.
Yeah, BC definitely is creepy. Yes, I was trying to get that in there.
I hate it, okay? It's a crisis. But I digress.
Oh, so much digressing always.
Yes. Hi, I'm Topher Graham.
I'm Ariel Hansen.
And BC is on fire. BC is on fire. It's 559 fires right now. And the army is in here and trying to put them out. And there's smoke across the entire country. And I'm sorry, BC is creepy.
Is the name of our podcast.
Yeah.
That you are listening to. Which I would hope you know since you did click on the podcast to start.
Also, we're 15 episodes in now?
I think this is 14.
Lucky number 14.
Woo!
What have you got for us, Ariel?
Okay, well, because I wanted to be nice to you, I did not do a murder.
Thank you.
And this is actually going to be kind of an intense episode because there was so much information. Because it is something recent.
Nice.
That involves celebrities.
Celebrities.
Yep. So that is why there is a lot of information, because everyone's like, ooh, celebrities, we gotta get in on this hot gossip.
Is it about Seth Rogen and his new transit talking?
No, that's not that creepy. It's just kind of weird.
Morgan Freeman and his...
No. It's more interesting than that.
A little less, bad creepy and a little more good creepy.
I wouldn't say that.
Oh.
I mean... it's a sex cult.
Nice!
But not, in a good way.
Oh.
We'll just get into it. So, last October, some news broke about...
This is recent.
Yeah. Has any of our listeners heard of... It's either NXIVM or NXIVM. I think it's supposed to be pronounced NXIVM, but fuck them, so I'm gonna say NXIVM. It's spelled NXIVM, all capitals.
I mean, if they don't have any vowels, then you can just put them in as you please.
There is one vowel in the middle, and it doesn't make sense. So, you're NXIVM now. This is another cult episode!
Yay!
All right.
I heard it was the actress that broke it.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
All right.
Because let's just say there is more than one actress involved.
But I have heard of this.
Yeah.
Kinda.
So, this cult was started in 1998 by Keith Raniere, which I always think of the Cherries whenever I see his name in these things. It started as a multi-level marketing company, aka a pyramid scheme.
A pyramid? What were they selling?
They were selling self-improvement techniques and courses and workshops and self-help.
I'm already creeped out by them.
Yeah. And it's based out of Albany, New York. I know you're thinking, why are we talking about this on BC is Creepy? And I'll get to that. Don't you worry. So first, let's just talk about good old Keithy boy. He was born August 26th, 1960, to James and Vera Raniere, an advertising executive and a ballroom dance instructor. He grew up in Brooklyn until he was 5 when his family moved to some place called Suffern. Literally the word suffer with an N on the end.
I bet you that place has a relevant name.
I feel like it's missing at least an I. Because it could have been Sufferin.
Yeah.
Anywho, in 1976, he moved to Albany after his mother's death and attended Rensselaer. I have no clue how to pronounce this.
Can I see it? Rensselaer.
Yeah. There's the whole AE thing going on and stuff. It's a Polytechnic Institute. And that was in 1981. And then after taking Amway marketing classes, Raniere founded Consumers Byline in 1990, which was supposed to be this thing where you paid money every month to get discounts on retail goods.
Ew.
Yeah.
I hate this guy.
Yeah, you should. You really should.
He's one of those assholes who call you up and are like, do you want this and this and that? And it's literally nothing. You're literally just paying for marketing. Gross.
Yeah. Well, the New York Attorney General saw that and accused him of operating the company as a pyramid scheme. So he signed a consent order and agreed to a permanent ban on promoting, offering, or granting participation in a chain distribution scheme, although he denied any wrongdoing, of course.
Yeah. Okay. How do you differentiate legally a pyramid scheme from multi-level marketing?
I don't know, because they both look like a pyramid.
Yeah, and they both are really annoying and suck.
And they both, like, destroy people financially.
Yeah, and take a lot of time and energy for nothing.
Yeah. Have you seen the John Oliver video on multi-level marketing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, in 1998, Keith and a woman named Nancy Salzman, who would be eventually the company's president, founded NXIVM, as well as, like, what it mostly started out as was the Executive Success Programs. ESPs for short.
Huh.
Except not the cool kind of ESP. They couldn't actually read your mind. They could just reprogram it. Yeah. And they offered like a range of psychological techniques aimed at self-improvement.
I hate that. I
Yeah.
hate this. I hate this whole thing. And it's not even like the bad part yet.
No,
It's
we are nowhere
just
near the bad part
We're
yet.
just at the like gross self-help stuff is like all it's pure marketing for the sake of marketing. It's not even like really meant to help you. It's just meant to sell you stuff.
Yep. And it just makes the person who's selling it richer so they look better, like they have the answers more.
Yeah, which
Sells more.
Gross. Okay.
Yeah. So they offered things like intensives, which were workshops that last anywhere from 5 to 16 days and cost about $7,500. The introductory courses were essentially life coaching, self-improvement workshops. They were based on a bunch of different therapeutic techniques mashed together, which included like hypnosis and neuro-linguistic programming, which is a controversial behavior modification program. So that's already sounding super culty.
Can you go more into the controversial?
I did not research that part too much. Okay. There's like so much other stuff to do with this that I was like, that is... We'll just move on. So they repackaged these techniques, but with like a twist to make it seem like you're a morally superior person, because by becoming fully empowered through this, you could help create a more ethical world.
So it's got a real like Ayn Rand vibe to it.
Apparently he was a big fan.
Yeah, okay.
Big fan.
Nobody who's a big fan of Ayn Rand is a good person.
Nope.
Like,
nope.
Actually.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
So during the seminars, students were expected to call Rainier and Salzman Vanguard and Prefect, respectively. Apparently the title of Vanguard was actually from a video game that he played a bunch as a kid, and like in that game when you destroy your enemy, it makes you more powerful, which that's pretty much most video games, because that's just EXP points.
Yeah.
Yeah. He claimed that the reasoning for the titles were that, like, he was the leader of a philosophical movement, so that was why he was a vanguard, and that Salzman was his first student, so she was the prefect.
Oh.
Which also, anyone who knows lots about cults, they all create their own titles and levels.
It's hierarchy.
A hierarchy.
You have to create a hierarchy so people have something to strive towards, because if they have a goal within your cult, they're more dedicated to it.
Yep, and they also create their own jargon and stuff too.
Yeah.
So you gotta have
so
titles.
You feel exclusive.
Exactly. Now, there have been a lot of famous members. The first ones we're gonna get to are the heiresses to the Seagram fortune. Well, some of the heirs. There's a lot of heirs, but these two heiresses, Claire and Sarah Bronfman, they became super involved in the cult in the early 2000s, and so they initially joined, and then they convinced their dad to come do a session as well, and he thought it was okay then. But
so this is still like just doing self-help programs and
yeah.
Okay.
But then like because their dad is a billionaire and he was getting even more special treatment than his trust fund kids.
And ready to put in like tons and tons of money.
Well, then he got creeped out and left.
Oh.
Yeah. So he actually became quite concerned about their involvement in it. So he, in an interview to Forbes magazine, this is an actual quote.
Oh no.
I think it's a cult.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was like 2003. There's a lot of examples of why he was concerned about this. So for instance, one of the first things that happened was they took out a $2 million line of credit in order to loan money to the cult, which would be paid back in the form of classes and like personal advice on call from the leaders. Yeah.
There's $2 million worth of that.
Yeah. By like the present.
Yeah.
They have given, well, actually, I think the article that I got this part from was from 2010, so they've probably given more by now, but they'd given $150 million of their fortune to the cult. Yeah. And
that's
then
like a country.
I guess a really small country.
Small country, an Avengers movie.
Yeah, that's an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
But there's been like all sorts of this stuff, like all these legal issues and everything to do with the money, because they would like hire people within the cult to be their money managers and stuff, who then quit the cult, but then they'd like twist things to try and sue them for mismanaging their money, even though...
So we're talking about like hardcore laundering.
Yeah, apparently there's like potentially a lot of illegal stuff that was going on, but it was also like the person who left and they're trying to blame for stuff. They made sure they made photocopies of all the documents that they had, because they're like, no, I wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
I need this to defend myself, and apparently there's some shady shit in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, so there's that. So in 2003, there was a woman named Kristen Snyder. She was a 35-year-old environmental consultant, and she disappeared after a NXIVM session in Alaska.
Oh.
Her body was never found.
Oh.
But she had parked a truck on the shore of Resurrection Bay and left a note. And the note said, "I was brainwashed and my emotional center of the brain was killed/turned off. Please contact my parents if you find me or this note. I am sorry. I didn't know I was already dead."
Okay. Now I'm creeped out. Now we're into the really creepy stuff.
Yeah. So today, a lot of people describe NXIVM therapy sessions where they were convinced that they're reincarnated Nazis or that they're responsible for 9/11.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, we still got sessions happening?
We'll get into that. But, these are also people who are telling their stories now, but it may have already happened. Like, it may have happened a few years ago.
Okay. Nazis.
Yeah.
Responsible for 9/11.
Yeah. 2003 was kind of the year that the negative press really started for them. But it hadn't ramped up until recently. But a cult investigator named Rick Allen Ross was able to get a hold of one of their manuals. And after reading their manual, he published 3 articles on his website that were very critical of them and their practices. And were like, this is a cult.
Yeah.
Don't join. Don't take their classes. And then after that, the Forbes article that I mentioned before, where the Bronfman sisters, their dad said bad things about the cult, came out, which really surprised the cult. They thought it was going to be this really positive article all about them, and all the higher ups had talked to Forbes for it. And
oh no.
Yeah, so the article came out and they were like, what? And of course, like a lot of cults, they're with a lot of money, they're highly litigious too, so they try to sue their enemies and everything.
Very Scientology.
Yeah, that's where a lot of the Bronfman sisters' fortune has gone.
Ah.
Yeah, well, that and buying things like houses and jets and real estate schemes. And
people with too much money have too much money.
Yes. And also, Rainier really likes to attempt commodity trading, but he's very bad at it. So they would constantly be paying off the money he lost from that.
Commodity trading, you're talking about real estate?
I'm not sure.
Businesses.
I think commodity trading is gold.
If you know what commodity trading is, email us at badcookiepictures@gmail.com.
Because we don't. But then he was making up these lies saying that their dad had created a scheme to make sure that all of his commodity trading stuff failed.
Oh.
He's
strange.
Yeah. Oh, well, you should hear how he, talks about himself. He's like, I was talking in full sentences by the age of 1. I had finished high school by the age of 13 and was taking university courses. I was a concert-level pianist by the age of 12. I know 6 languages by the age of 17.
Classic narcissistic behavior.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which is a definite need if you're going to start a cult. You have to be a narcissist.
Now, also, another thing that you need to have if you're going to start a cult is jargon.
Yep.
Oh, the jargon.
Buzzwords and talking and all of those skills.
Yeah. So they had their own jargon, of course, within the cult. And some of it was derived from Keith's intense devotion to the works of... How do you say her name?
Ayn Rand.
I always want to say Ayn.
Yeah.
Ayn Rand.
No. She's the worst.
Or,
she's the absolute worst.
Or I want to say Anne Rind.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Ayn Rand.
I don't care.
No, she's the worst person. She's the actual worst person. She
had a very strange affair with someone, from what I've read. Like a super fan. She just started...
That may be true. All I know is that her books have, super influenced the Republican Party of the United States, which is...
scary.
Yeah, which is literally the worst force on the planet right now.
Can't really disagree with you on that. Anyways, so this jargon was derived from
Ayn Rand's books.
As well as his notion of unalloyed self-interest as a path to ethical behavior.
Gross.
Yeah.
He sounds like a douchebag.
Yep.
Does he have a man bun?
He has long hair.
He probably puts it in a bun.
Probably. So some of those words were parasites, which are people who create problems because they crave attention, and suppressives are people who saw good but wanted to destroy it, which basically just included anyone who opposed his cult and him.
Both of those words sound like Trump.
Yeah.
And yet...
Okay, next up in the... I think we might still be on page 1 of 4. So they also managed to get the Dalai Lama to visit Albany and do a speech sponsored by them.
As one does when you have a lot of money.
Yeah. He came to Albany in 2009, which was through some World Ethics Foundation or something like that. I really didn't want to write down the name of the foundation because I just...
Don't put money into NXIVM.
Or anything related to them.
Or anything related to NXIVM.
Yeah. But anyways, this foundation that was started by Rainier and the Bronfman sisters. And so the speaking engagement was originally canceled because NXIVM has so much negative press.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it was eventually rescheduled.
With the Dalai Lama?
Yeah, the Dalai Lama did actually go and give a talk.
Ew.
Now, incidentally, the person who worked for the Dalai Lama and scheduled it from his side of things was fired in 2017 for corruption. And it was also found out that he had a personal relationship with one of the Bronfmans that started in 2009.
Yay.
I don't think it's that kind of... I don't think it's a sexy personal relationship, though. It might just be oh, we're friends, we do favors for each other.
Gross.
Yeah. More beer time.
Personal favors. The famous rich girls that are funding this crazy thing.
Yeah. Okay, so in a 2010 article in the Albany Times-Union, former NXIVM coaches characterized students as prey for use by Rainier to satisfy his sexual or gambling-related proclivities.
Ew.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in 2014, Kristen Keefe, who was a longtime partner of Rainier and mother of his child, and also I think she was a legal advisor for the cult for a long time, she left and described him as dangerous and said that all the worst things you know about NXIVM are true.
Okay.
And this is before the worst things have come out.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We haven't even, gotten to... Okay.
Yeah. We haven't gotten to the worst of it. We haven't even gotten to the Vancouver connection, which is where we start to get to the worst of it.
Oh gosh, okay.
Yeah. So now there's also been, like, in line with, you know, the really big cults, there's been stories about private detectives allegedly obtaining bank and phone records of NXIVM opponents, stories of critics being followed and threatened, and in one case reportedly run off the road by a black limousine. There's also accounts of this motherless 3-year-old boy who was brought onto the compound, which is this area in Albany that pretty much is all owned by people who are in the cult. And he was brought to the group as a newborn under mysterious circumstances.
What did they do to the kid?
They have raised him as Rainier's heir and raised him also according to his child-rearing theories, which mean that he is reportedly fed a raw diet, kept away from other children, and tended by 5 nannies who each speak a different language to him, including Russian, Spanish, Hindi, and Chinese.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Let the kid be a kid.
Look, I don't have anything wrong with getting people to speak a bunch of different languages to the kid.
Yeah.
That's great.
But don't isolate him from other children.
Yeah, that's not how you raise someone with empathy.
We'll have to see how the kid grows up.
Yeah.
Very curious.
Yeah. He's probably like 8 now or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
he speaks like 5 different languages.
He may have been taken with that Kristen Keefe woman.
Into custody?
Well, when she left, because it did say that she was mother of his child, so maybe they adopted the kid. I don't know.
Okay.
It didn't specify that she was loin-bearing mother.
Yeah.
Also, he had many girlfriends within the cult.
Well, it goes without saying.
Not every cult.
Not all cults.
Yeah, not all cults. Just most.
Just most cults are creepy, you know.
Yeah.
Multi-marriage, child, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. So people who have left the cult would describe Rainier as someone who manipulated his adherents, had sex with them, and urged women to follow a near-starvation diet to achieve the type of physique he found appealing.
Ew.
Yeah. So there's like stories of girls or women being so anorexic from like trying to please them and everything that they wouldn't have had their period for a year and their hair would be falling out.
Oh.
Yeah. So also there was a complaint to the New York State medical regulators that a NXIVM affiliated physician named Brandon Porter, as part of an experiment, he showed a bunch of women graphically violent film clips while he used a brainwave machine and video camera to record their reactions, and then like he hadn't warned them that there was going to be any violence or anything, but the medical regulators were just like, we're not prosecuting him, that doesn't count.
I mean, that's really mean.
Yeah, well, also, like, technically if it's an experiment,
yeah,
that...
They probably signed
Waivers.
waivers.
But if the waiver didn't state...
Yeah.
I mean, of course, how many people actually read waivers?
None.
Yeah.
Not enough.
Not enough, yes. But that's just, like, really shady.
Yeah, that's just a sadistic thing to do to somebody.
Yeah. All right.
Is
now,
this the fun stuff?
Almost half an hour in, we can get into why this belongs on BC's Creepy.
Yay!
Yay! So, NXIVM had a very big following in Vancouver.
We have a lot of actors here,
yeah.
And we have a lot of like Hollywood films that film out here. So I can see if you've got like Hollywood elites and rich people.
It's not even. Well, I mean, it's not so much the Hollywood elites; it's the actors.
Yeah.
That is why it has thrived here. Like I remember hearing from one of my acting teachers. They were telling stories about someone who they knew who took the program and like attributed all of their success in the industry to the program and everything, and they were like, yeah, no, it sounds like a cult. And was like warning us about ESP because of course that's like how they get you in, is the executive success programs. So, because of course that just sounds like, you know, a course you take.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
As an actress, would something like this appeal to you?
I mean, I don't really want to spend thousands of dollars on a course.
I did. I'm
like,
talking about like $30,000 for film school.
That's different. I'm meaning like a workshop.
Yeah.
Or like anything self-help related.
Yeah, no.
Like, oh, we're not teaching you acting techniques. We're just gonna make you a you or you so you succeed.
Ew.
Yeah, that's not my jam. But also having heard, like, before any of this news came out about this thing being cult-like.
Yeah.
It's a cult. Definitely. There was quite the following in Vancouver.
Are we talking about like actual locations that you could go to?
Yeah, like there was a school.
Yeah.
A school.
Where was it?
I don't know. It is closed now.
It's gone.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Thank goodness. Get them out. Get out.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was very popular with actors in the city, especially ones on the TV show Smallville.
Oh, no. I've worked on Smallville.
Really?
Yes, I did it for 3 days. I was a PA. Beyond that, one of my current coworkers is actually married to the caterer for Smallville.
I don't think they were involved.
Not like all he does is make food. Food is great. Cults are bad.
Food is great. This cult wouldn't have wanted them to eat that food.
Rude.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first of the Smallville cast to join the cult, she's since left, was Kristen Couric. So she's like a famous Canadian actress. She was not Lois Lane, but her cousin, who was on the show before Lois ever was.
Okay.
Yeah, she's very ethnically ambiguous looking.
Oh, Smallville.
Yeah.
Not Supernatural.
You got Smallville and Supernatural confused.
I'm very sorry to the crew of Smallville and Supernatural.
Supernatural's still on.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm sure you're all cool.
Yeah,
I worked on Supernatural.
Okay.
Smallville was a little bit before I was old enough.
Yeah. No, I have not seen anything about prominent supernatural actors being a part of this, so.
Well, that's unfortunate for me.
Is it, though?
I just wanted a cool anecdote to put into the podcast.
I know. You tried.
I tried.
You tried. Yeah, so she joined in 2006, and then she convinced her co-star Allison Mack to take some courses.
Allison Mack sounds familiar too.
She's the one who's been in the But we'll get to that.
Okay.
Now, for those of you who have been following the NXIVM news, you would have heard that she has become incredibly heavily involved in this cult. Like, after Smallville was done, she even moved to New York State to be closer to the compound and Rainier and everything, and like she's become pretty much second in command. Yeah,
we've got the face of the cult.
Yeah, so for anyone who has watched Netflix's Wild Wild Country documentary, highly recommend it. Do it, watch it, please. She would be the Sheila to Rainier's Bhagwan.
I haven't watched it. I'm sorry.
Watch it.
Okay. This is my first time hearing about your affinity for this documentary.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I would have thought I would have told you about it. Oh well, but like he's also worse than Bhagwan. So. Yeah. So then there was another Vancouver actor, Sarah Edmondson. She actually was the one who started the Vancouver chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she'd taken this course and she would travel to like New York and Seattle to take more courses, and she liked it so much she eventually started a chapter in Vancouver. But she left the group. Yeah. After a creepy induction ritual into a secret society of women within the cult called DOS.
Does this involve having sex with Rainier?
Not her specifically, but pretty much.
Not her specifically.
It's kind of murky, but she might not have gotten to that point, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because she left.
Do we have details about this induction ritual?
Okay, yes we do!
But I have to wait, okay.
Yes!
I'm sorry, this is really engaging.
Good! So, Sarah Edmondson and this induction ritual is what really started to blow the lid off of all the horrible things with this cult, and where their real troubles with the media started. This was actually covered in like a New York Times expose.
Yeah, I remember when the cult was like had a big like blow up on.
Well, it's had 2 blow-ups within the past year, so this was the first blow-up.
Yeah.
And so, the ritual that caused her to quit involved participants being blindfolded, naked, and then they got held down by a bunch of women. Some sources said Mac, but when I actually read Sarah's account of it, it was Lauren Salzman, who's the daughter of Nancy Salzman, one of the founders.
Yeah.
So they were being held down while Dr. Danielle Roberts took a cauterizing pen and branded them.
Oh.
Yeah. And this doctor is, of course, NXIVM affiliated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before they went there, they were told it was going to be a small tattoo that they had to get to become a part of this secret society.
Yeah.
Which Sarah, before this, like, she didn't even want to do that.
No.
But because this Lauren Salzman was one of her best friends, she was like, no, it'll be fine. You've got a fear you need to work through, you know. They would frame any time you were as uncomfortable as the process working. So
what does the brand look like?
Oh, well, the brand looks like Keith Rainier's initials.
Oh, creepy. Ugh.
Yeah. And when they were held down and the process was about to start, they were ordered to say, Master, please brand me. It would be an honor.
Yeah.
Yep. So Edmondson complained to the New York State Medical Board, but they refused to investigate because she wasn't Dr. Roberts' patient.
Yeah, but he did the thing.
She did do the thing, but also it was consensual, even though you're being held down and
she's telling them that she didn't want to do it.
Ahead of time, yeah, and
Okay.
it's murky. It's murky. So some other things that they had to do in order to gain admission to DOS was they were also required to give the person who recruited them into it, who they had to refer to as master, either naked photos or other compromising material, and they were warned that this kind of collateral would be publicly released if they ever disclosed the group's existence. Yeah, and they were told going into this that this was going to be like, you know, a secret society of women like the Freemasons that's going to, you know, influence elections and change the world and all this kind of stuff.
Give me collateral to blackmail you.
If you ever tell anyone about this. So some other stuff that Mr. Rainier preached was that to become effective, especially within this group since it was only women, members had to overcome weaknesses that he thought were common in women, such as our over-emotional nature, a failure to keep promises, and the tendency to embrace the role of victim. Yeah, submission and obedience were used as tools in order to achieve the goals of breaking those habits, and the sisterhood, sorority, secret society was comprised of different circles, and each was led by a master who then would recruit 6 slaves, and according to some other women who had been a part of it in time, each of those slaves then recruits their own slaves, like
okay,
the pyramid.
I really hate the whole master and slave.
Yeah.
I hate that. And I know some people are like, no, don't kink shame and just like let us do what makes us happy, but it's like so unbalanced.
But you also have to remember these aren't like just people who it's their kink. These are people who have been a part of a program that has been breaking them down psychologically.
Yeah.
It's not like they're just doing this when they have sex. Or like they're doing it because they enjoy it with their partner. It's like they have been
brainwashed to think that this is going to create success in their lives. And
yeah, and remember they've also sunk thousands of dollars into this. They're being told that they're special. So it's like when you put the frog or the lobster in the water and you slowly turn it up.
Yeah.
They don't even realize that they're gonna die until they're already dead.
Yeah.
So it's like they just add these little layers and get slightly weirder, and they've got a reason for everything, every warning sign you're hearing in your head. Oh no, it's because of this. Oh no, it's because of this.
They've
oh
got
no,
an
it's
answer
because of
to
this.
everything.
Yeah, they've got answers to all your little red flags, but then bingo bango bongo, you should listen to those red flags. Yeah. So it was like in October when that sort of broke in the New York Times article, and then Edmondson eventually appeared on an A&E show about cults, where she provided context for, I mentioned collateral, which was a concept within the cult. They had like created these concepts of collateral and penance. So collateral was used in like innocuous forms at first, even like in the outermost stages of being a NXIVM member. So like even at the lowest levels, they introduced this concept. It was to like get people used to the idea so that as it built and got into like send us nudes.
Yeah, well it's like a debt, right?
So the whole idea is you'd give something, like you'd collateralize perhaps small amounts of money that you'd forfeit if you didn't go to the gym that day.
Yeah.
Like it would start with small things and like penance. So there were women who were on 300 calorie a day diets doing penance for like something they did wrong, or someone would be taking cold showers for a week because they forgot to floss. Like it just got weird and bad.
Yeah.
So then on December 15th, 19th of 2017, ABC News Magazine 2020 aired an expose that had interviews with a bunch of former NXIVM members, which included Edmondson as well as actress named Catherine Oxenberg, who was on the TV show Dynasty back in the day. She alleged that her daughter India Oxenberg was in danger because of the group. In fact, it turned out that her daughter India was one of those people who got branded.
Oh, one of the higher-ups.
Yeah, well, it's also rumored that it was conditioning people for sex with Rainier.
Yeah.
So this girl, or this woman, was 26, 27, or she's now 27, so she was 26 when this article came out. So it's and she was the one who'd been not getting her period, and her hair was falling out because she was not eating enough.
So really targeted by him.
Yeah. Also, a bunch of former members reported financial and sexual predation carried out by the NXIVM leaders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a given.
Yeah, at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, we get to March 2018, so just a few months ago. Rainier was arrested and indicted on a variety of charges relating to DOS, including sex trafficking conspiracy, and conspiracy to commit forced labor.
Yay!
Because these women were also, in addition to being slaves in this just verbal context, they were being forced to clean and do all the chores and all this labor and stuff for their masters and everything. It's that doesn't sound like empowerment.
No.
So he was arrested in Mexico and then held in custody in New York after appearing in federal court in Fort Worth, Texas. The indictment alleged that followers were coerced into sex with Rainier, who forced them to undergo the branding ritual alleged by Edmondson and others. United States Attorney Richard Donahue stated that Rainier created a secret society of women who he had sex with and branded with his initials, coercing them with the threat of releasing their highly personal information and taking their assets. And the FBI's New York field office assistant director in charge, that's a mouthful, stated that Rainier displayed a disgusting abuse of power in his efforts to denigrate and manipulate women he considered his sex slaves.
Yeah, that sounds very appropriate to the whole. It's so.
Yep, this makes Brother 12 look tame.
Right. This is the modern age. This is how we build cults now.
Yeah.
With weird rich people lingo and Ayn Rand and branding. That's so gross and sadistic. And
it's even worse than scarification.
Yeah. And okay.
Yeah. Now, this whole time that he's gotten arrested and everything, Allison Mack and some other women in the cult are no, he's innocent. Arrest me instead.
Of course, as a brainwashed slave might do.
Yep. And on April 20th, 2018, Mack was arrested and indicted on similar charges to Rainier's.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Because it's also that, according to prosecutors, she would recruit women first into NXIVM and then into this DOS group. So she started the DOS group.
So she was head bitch.
Yeah, and then she coerced them into engaging in sexual activity with Rainier and performing menial tasks for which she was allegedly paid by Rainier.
Oh.
So it's they were cleaning his house and she was getting paid for it. And she was, as I said before, allegedly the second in command of NXIVM after Rainier.
Yeah.
So she usurped that Nancy Salzman who was the president, and now she's second in command.
Because she's the eager actress who brought it to Vancouver.
And she's not the one who brought it to Vancouver.
Or, no, yeah.
No, the one who brought it to Vancouver is the one who quit after getting branded.
But the eager actress who would go around and,
the famous actress.
Or lasso him some,
She's not really famous anymore.
No.
No, Smallville ended and that was kind of it for her career. She needed something to latch on to.
Yeah. Well, she got a hobby.
A dangerous, horrible hobby. She should have gotten into knitting or something.
We're in Vancouver. She could have been surfing.
You have to go to the island for that.
She could have been
But if she had enough money to up and move to New York, she should have just moved to Tofino, started surfing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you start surfing, you don't have to traffic women into labor and
you also don't have the time or money to do that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, just become a cool surfer chick.
Yeah. Do surfing, not
it's
trafficking. Fun. Fuck, at this point, just do drugs. If you're going to be a trafficker, please do everybody a favor and, I don't know, just anything else. Literally.
That doesn't involve forcing your will upon others.
Yeah.
Okay, so if they're convicted of all charges, Mac and Rainier face a minimum of 15 years and up to life in prison. Rainier's trial date is set for October 1st. Apparently his attorneys had requested an early spring trial, and the judicial system was like, fuck no, why would we accommodate you?
Where's his court hearing?
I think it's in New York.
Federal one?
Yes, a federal level, because trafficking and everything, that's a federal thing.
International trafficking.
And, I didn't see it in any of the articles, but I think I remember hearing about, some of the other... They also had immigration fraud-related things, possibly, where they'd be like, I think your efforts would be used best in Toronto, but this person's an American citizen. So they'd send them to Toronto and be like, this member, you're going to get married so that you can become a Canadian citizen and work in Toronto. So then they'd, fake date and get married and stuff. Yeah, cults tend to do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta subvert the law somehow.
Oh, so many ways they subvert the law.
Is he being charged by the Crown or Canadian government at all?
No, this is all U.S. because I don't think he himself came to Canada that much, if that makes sense.
What about Mac?
After Smallville, she buggered off to New York.
All right.
Yeah, I think this is all just happening in the US.
All on you, United States of America.
Yeah.
And I know we haven't been the best of friends lately, but do it. Do the thing. Get rid of the...
I mean, to be fair, it's mostly American citizens probably who have had the worst of it with this, so protect your own.
Yeah.
I'm not even done yet.
No.
I've still got more. So then, that former member, Catherine Oxenberg, who her daughter was one of the others branded, she also claims that Keith had been playing and positioning his devoted follower, Emiliano Salinas, as his pawn for years. Now, Emiliano Salinas is the son of a former Mexican president.
Oh.
And apparently, he's not the only son or child of a former Mexican president that Mr. Rainier had been buddying up with.
Oh.
Now, to continue on with what Catherine said, he'd been positioning his devoted follower, Emiliano Salinas, as his pawn for years, while Emmy's family groomed him to follow in his father's political footsteps. From what I heard from high-ranking defectors, the supposed plan was to get Emmy into office in Mexico's next presidential election in the summer of 2018.
No.
That didn't happen.
Don't sully Mexico.
So that a top-ranking ESP and NXIVM devotee would have power on the world's political stage. His father, Carlos, would use his Machiavellian methods to ensure his son's election win, and then Keith would use Emmy as his puppet and rule Mexico.
Oh, no, don't ruin Mexico.
Yeah. And it gets better, or worse, depending on your opinion. From what you've said, worse.
Yeah.
Because his attempts to accumulate power in Mexico, that is not where they stopped. Oxenberg also claims that he sent out members of his harem to seduce various members of law enforcement and public officials so that he could compromise them.
Oh, what are we talking? What are we talking about?
It didn't get into specifics on that, but I'm assuming mayors and police chiefs and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, on May 24th this year, NXIVM announced on its website that it was suspending all NXIVM/ESP enrollment, curriculum, and events until further notice.
Thank God.
Due to extraordinary circumstances facing the company.
Boo-hoo.
Yeah. Claire Bronfman was arrested on July 24th, 2018, and charged with racketeering. She was released on house arrest after signing a $100 million bail bond.
Christ. You know, that's money that could, put water in Flint.
Yep.
Money that could, bring power to Puerto Rico.
Yep.
Money that could be used in so many... Could stop the wildfires that are burning our freaking...
I think what gets even better is, so her older sister, Sarah, who was initially the first of the two sisters to join the cult, she's kind of shied away from it over the years, whereas Claire's doubled down, and I think Sarah had to put up her apartment as bond as a part of the bond for her sister. So if her sister leaves the country or anything, her apartment gets taken away.
Ew.
Because she's probably put so much of her money into the cult.
And the cult won't, like, put up the bond to try and, like, keep her silence, or...
They probably don't have enough money, because you'd think there'd also be bail bonds for Rainier, Mac, there's legal fees.
Yeah.
Like, and $100 million?
Yeah. No, we're not looking at, like, small time.
No, it's not like even $1 million. It's $100 million.
So this is, like, federal level human trafficking charges.
Yeah. Also arrested and charged with the same crime were Nancy Salzman, NXIVM's president, her daughter Lauren Salzman, the one who branded Sarah Edmondson.
Gross.
And another NXIVM employee named Kathy Russell. And so, I guess by the end of the year, we may have more news on this and be doing an update.
I hope so.
So, there are, like, so many sources on this. I've got 4 main ones, but, like,
It's hot news right now.
It's hot, like, every major publication is talking about this.
Yeah.
So there are lots of places to get information on it. My main ones were a Vanity Fair article from 2010. That's where I got a lot of the stuff to do with the Bronfman sisters. And, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that they're heirs to a Canadian whiskey fortune.
Which one?
Seagram, which eventually split off into, like, Diageo and all these other brands.
Oh.
But that's how their family made their money. And their dad is Canadian.
Don't sully our whiskey.
Yep.
We call it rye. It's very important to us.
Or we also call it whiskey, but like the Scottish form of whiskey, we have no E in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Vanity Fair article. Of course, the Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
Because...
Well, that just puts it into it.
So concise. TheCut.com and the New York Times.
Wow.
Yeah, so those were my main sources, but there are, like, tons of other places if you're really interested in this where you can look it up. So
Or you could just, like, join.
No, you can't. You actually can't. I didn't go to their website because I was scared.
Yeah.
I
CSIS is gonna come after you, like, don't
Not-
join the cult.
Not so
Don't
much
do it,
that.
Ariel.
I just don't, like, even want to give them the traffic.
Yeah.
You know? Like, if they've got
Ad
ads.
revenue.
Yeah, I don't want them getting no ad revenue from me. That's like, I'll never go on the Scientology website.
Yeah.
Or, like, those kinds of things. No, you ain't getting no ad revenue.
You get nothing.
Yeah.
You go to jail, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. So, that is the saga of NXIVM thus far.
That was excellent. I love that.
Yeah, and it is our longest episode so far.
Yeah. It's a lot of information. It's very current.
Yes.
It's excellent.
Yes.
So, actors, careful out there.
Yeah. Also rich people, because rich people are very susceptible to cults.
Yeah. Well, highly coveted targets.
They're highly coveted targets, so the cults will come up with strategies to try and get them in. And then also, they get treated better than everyone else in the cult, too, so...
Just as, yeah, heads up.
Yeah.
Just be careful of people.
Because so many millionaires listen to our podcast.
Millionaires, if you're out there.
And billionaires.
And billionaires. You really have to do something about climate change. It's like we're on fire. We're on fire and there's smoke across the entire country. It's insane. Yeah.
Okay, so if you have any news on NXIVM, if you escaped from it and want to tell us about your experience, you can email us at badcookiepictures@gmail.com.
And you can find us on all forms of social media right now. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, YouTube, Vimeo, Pinterest.
Yeah, and our updated website.
Our updated website, badcookiepictures.com.
Yeah, where there's also like links to almost all those things as well.
Excellent.
Yeah, and
By the time this comes out, we're going to be talking about Edmonton International Film Festival.
Yes!
Yeah!
World premiere!
Of The Devil and I,
We will be there.
We're going to be there in Edmonton. It's going to be really fun. Come out and talk to us.
It's Topher's hometown.
Yeah. Welcome me back. Say hello.
Yeah.
What else is coming on around there?
I don't have the calendar up, but that's the same time as the Sick Chicks Flicks it's the same time as the Sick Chicks... Fuck! It's the same time as the Sick Chick Flicks Film Festival in Cary, North Carolina, where Nepenthes will be playing.
Excellent. The other half of the Bad Cookie Combo.
Yes. Yeah, those are the main 2 upcoming ones. but hopefully there'll be more even by the time this episode is released.
So just follow us on social media.
Yeah, and you can find me on the social stuff as @Hanson's Horror.
And you can find me on Instagram as Sneezing Wolf.
Yeah, so that about wraps it up.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
And
stay creepy.
stay creepy, but not that creepy.
Yeah, don't be that kind of creepy. Be the cool kind of creepy. And also,
Stay away from Ayn Rand.
And don't start forest fires.
Please, please. If somebody's inviting you to a bonfire or whatever, just tell him, like, no, look around you. I literally can't breathe.
Also, apparently, like, the police in some part of the province found a dude going around with a lighter and balled up paper and actually starting fires.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah, that guy's even worse than the people who are just dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay creepy. Don't start fires.